When a 15-year marriage ends suddenly, what happens next? You build a life together over 15 years. The routines, the memories, the shared dreams. Then, one afternoon, over coffee that had gone cold, they look at you and say, "I can't do this anymore." No yelling, no drama, just a sentence that splits your world in two. I was married for 15 years. We had a house, 2 kids, friends, holidays, the kind of life that looks solid from the outside. And then one day, it ended, quietly, without warning, without a second chance. When people hear about a long-term marriage ending, they often ask, "What happened? Was there cheating? A fight?" But the truth is, most relationships don't collapse in one moment. They fade quietly. They wear down under the weight of unspoken needs, misunderstood silence, emotional fatigue, and the slow drift of 2 people growing in different directions while sleeping in the same bed. We think that longevity is proof of strength, that if you've made it past 10 years, 15 years, you're set. But time isn't a guarantee of connection. You can live beside someone for years and not really see them anymore. You can love someone and still feel incredibly lonely in the same house. This isn't just about what happened to my marriage. It's about what happens when your identity, your security, and your sense of home all get pulled out from under you in the middle of life. It's about what comes next and why that part matters even more. We met when I was 25, young, hopeful, full of big plans. We got married a couple years later, like most people around us. We didn't rush into it, at least that's what we thought. We took the safe steps, built careers, saved for a house, had 2 kids. I thought we were a team. We had our ups and downs, but doesn't everyone? There was a rhythm to our life. We had taco nights, soccer Saturdays, birthday parties, shared Netflix accounts, shared bank accounts, shared exhaustion. Life wasn't glamorous, but it was ours. I used to say we were boring, but solid. Now I realize we were slowly drifting. It was a Tuesday. I remember because I had just gotten home late from work. The kids were in their rooms. I walked into the kitchen, expecting the usual nod or tired smile. Instead, they were sitting there, hands wrapped around a mug of tea they hadn't touched. They said, "We need to talk." I sat down, confused but not afraid, until I heard the words, "I don't think I can do this anymore." I still remember how loud the fridge sounded, how my heartbeat suddenly became the only thing I could hear. The house didn't feel like mine. It felt abandoned. The quiet was deafening. The empty half of the closet mocked me every morning. Meals for one. Echoes in the hallway. I had to learn how to live alone again. But I hadn't ever really done that. I went from living with family to roommates to marriage. I had never been this still or this alone. They don't tell you how divorce affects your identity, not just your relationship status. You stop being someone's person. You become the ex. You lose mutual friends. You get less invitations. You walk into a room and feel invisible, or worse, pitied. You question everything. Was it me? Did I stop trying? Did I miss the signs? I had always been the fixer, the reliable one. I kept the family going. I worked. I showed up. I made the dentist appointments, paid the bills, mowed the lawn, but I hadn't noticed that I stopped looking at them with curiosity. I thought showing up was enough. I didn't wake up one day healed. I didn't meditate my way to clarity. The healing looked like crying in the car outside the grocery store, like watching my kids sleep and feeling both grateful and hollow, like folding laundry and finding their shirt still in the pile, even though they hadn't lived there in months. But slowly, something shifted. I started going for walks in the morning. I called an old friend just to talk. I joined a gym not to look better, but to feel something. I started journaling. At first, angry letters I never sent, then pieces of gratitude I forced myself to find. I learned that grief comes in waves, not chapters, that some days you'll feel proud, other days you'll feel like a failure, but you keep moving. If you're watching this because you're where I was, sitting in a quiet house, trying to understand what just happened to your life, know this: you are not broken. You are not too old to start again. You are not unlovable. The day you plant the seed is not the day you eat the fruit, but plant it anyway. This is not the end. It's the uncomfortable beginning of something you haven't imagined yet. Stick with me. We'll go through it together. Subscribe if this spoke to you. You don't have to heal alone. Next video, we'll talk about what happens when you lose your sense of identity after a long-term relationship ends, and how you begin to rebuild from that emptiness.